My name is Joe Kazarian. This is my wife, Danille Kazarian. I am a chef and restaurant manager.
I'm Danille Kazarian, and I'm a salon manager and hairstylist.
We've been here at the church for about 2.5 years now. 2.5 years. We moved from Northern California back down to Southern California primarily because of this church. We're involved in the Young Marrieds Life Group. We actually lead a Young Marrieds Life Group at our home.
I'm currently interning at the church, which was just an amazing transformation in my life that God's been kind of molding me. And I also teach Sunday school for the 3, 4, and 5-year-olds in Cause Kids, and I'm interning under Life Care and Life Groups. So I grew up in a Christian family, went to church. My parents were an amazing example of what a Christian marriage is supposed to be, what God's called us to be in service. They were always really involved in church. I loved church from just being a young girl. I always loved being at church. And things in my life just shifted. I was 12. Or almost 12. It was July 4th of '99, and my dad came to my sister and I at my grandparents' house, and he told me that my parents were getting divorced. And that's really when the turning point in my life started to happen. I was leading small groups at church. I loved my friends there, and the example of what a godly man is, and what the ideals of family are supposed to be got shattered. Slowly but surely, as I went into high school, I went from being in a private school to public school and just being exposed to different things. So without any rules or really clear expectations of what was supposed to be happening when I was in high school, I'm trying to figure myself out, and I was exposed to, a lot of partying situations, but mainly I was forced to, I got in a relationship in high school that forced me to watch pornography and be exposed to a lot of stuff that a 15, 16, 17-year-old really shouldn't have to look at. And stuff happened to me in my life that I didn't really have a choice of what was taking place. My relationship with God, His voice just started to get quieter, and when I would hear Him, I would just push it away, because I knew that, yes, I was responsible for where I was, and I had a choice in where I was, but I just started to push Him farther and farther away. When I moved down to Southern California for college, my very first class of college, I met a couple people that invited me to their church college group, and that's really when I responded, and I said yes immediately, because it just gave me that opportunity to reconnect with God again. And I got in a small group with some girls that were awesome, and we just prayed together and met just some great friends. And that church that I was a part of is actually where I ended up meeting Joseph. And so my second year into college is when we met, and God really started to turn my life around, and I was starting to hear His voice again. Shortly after we started dating, we came to the Cause Community Church, and as soon as I walked in the door, it felt like home. The people that I met, everybody had a smile on their face, and it just was so warm and inviting. And I got connected with the young adults, and a couple of the girls just totally reached out to me and got me involved in outreach ministries and just accepted me for who I was. And they didn't even know what was going on. They didn't realize that I felt like I was being rescued out of this junk from my past. Now, more recently, back in October, I started getting shooting pains in my wrists. It went all the way up my arm, my hands. The circulation was just off on my knuckles. I would have like dark red and purple. They were swollen, they were bumps, and just an excruciating pain. So as I'm doing hair at work, I'm doing blow dries, and I felt like I was gonna drop the hairdryer because I was getting these shooting pains. And I just, again, was standing in faith, believing that God was going to heal me. And he'd done it before, he can do it again. So I put my name on the prayer email, and every single Sunday people were coming up to me. I've been praying for you. I'm on my knees. I'm fasting for you. I'm believing God's going to heal you. I know God's healed you. We just need to stand in this. And it was so encouraging just to know that there were friends and people that I didn't even know on a personal level that were praying for me. And Equip Conference just a couple weeks ago, I had gone forward a part of altar ministry to pray with people, and Andrew Quibala said, there's someone standing in front of me that has wrist issues. And everything in my head was going, okay, is that me? That's got to be me. I've got these wrist and hand issues. This has to be me. But I was in a battle in my head. And so I turned to Cindy sitting behind me to kind of get an okay, like, can I go forward? I'm here praying for other people. Can I go forward? And she's like, of course, like, this is obviously you. So I raised my hand and he brought me on stage. He prayed for me, and immediately I just felt this warmth go through my arms. And as I'm standing there looking at my hands, I could see the discoloration go away. And what was purple and red looked like normal hands again. And God gave Andrew words to speak over my life and to me directly, that stuff that I had never even vocalized to anyone before. He was saying specific words that I had never shared with anybody. And I knew that it was from God, because it was speaking to insecurities in my life from stuff of the past, that it was just confirmation. God saying, you are my child. I love you. I have healed you. This stuff is gone. You know, there's times where the enemy wants to attack me and discourage me and tell me that, that I haven't been healed, but I know that I am. And as soon as I pray and I say, no, God, there's victory, the pain goes away. And it's just really cool to see how God is working in my life and developing me as an individual. And it's just confirmation that all the pain that is going through my body and the inflammation and these different diseases, as soon as I claim that God has healed me and that there's victory, it's that other confirmation that the stuff in the past and those insecurities that are in my mind and my heart, and the enemy trying to speak this negativity into me, as soon as I claim that victory over the situation, and then I feel better again. It's just that extra confirmation that God has embraced me. He loves me. I'm his daughter, and I don't need to worry about it.
The way that I've experienced grace is most recently I've been allowing myself to get really busy just with life, and I've essentially chosen to ignore God, not step away from him whatsoever, but to ignore him, to not really spend time in the Word or spend time talking to him. And I've been noticing a decline in my attitude, in my spirit, and just my being. And with a couple weeks ago being in Equip, I was just praying for just a renewed spirit in God and just a renewed relationship with him. And God just laid down his grace on me with a word of saying, like, Joe, no matter how much you ignore me, I will always be there for you. I will always be there to love you. And at that moment, it was awesome to experience his grace.
My name is Danielle, and Jesus has changed my life because he lives.